Hi and welcome to another video from Tech. My name's Dave. In today's video I'll be showing you how to turn these into this. Right, we're going to start off making one of these panels, but we need to prepare our acrylic. Here I've got a A4 sheet of 3mm acrylic. This is clear, completely clear. Now this is going to be the top rasterized panel, stuff with all the writing on for the switches. So I'm going to prepare this surface and then paint it. So use a piece of fine wet and dry and just give the surface a little rub over just to make it opaque. And it will also make the paint adhere to the surface. So this rub down surface will actually be the back of this front panel, the rear side of the front panel. Take the shine off, and it also makes it opaque as well. You don't have to be too fussy with it, just give the surface something to paint to adhere to. You've seen my previous videos on making the 32 button box for your simulator. It's the same process. So that gives it a surface to adhere to the paint. Right, and what we're going to be using is this Plasticoat. It's a grey matte finish. It's your primer. Just sorry, I don't know if you got that or not, because this camera's working the wrong way around. Right, here we go. Plasticoat matte grey primer. Just give that a good shake up. It's going to take a couple of coats. So just evenly spray this over the surface. Matte finish primer, which is what we want. Okay, just going to let that dry now. That's the, just get that again there, Plasticoat matte. I'm going to let that layer dry now and then come back and do a second coat. Okay, I'm going to pause the video now, let it dry and come back with a second coat. Right, well, welcome back. Here you can see is the piece of plastic. This was clear 3mm acrylic, which I've given 3 coats of the Plasticoat grey primer. This Plasticoat grey primer, 3 coats of that. So now there's no light shining through here. So if I test this with a little LED light here, turn that on. Oh, you see a bit bright there, but if I put that on top, no light coming through at all. So hopefully once I engrave this now, the light will come through and that gives you the backlight effect. Here's a a couple of panels, smaller panels that are made in the same method again with this is an opaque acrylic sprayed grey, and then the lettering is engraved using the K40 Laser. Another one here, slightly larger scale. These are using different materials. This one is the 3mm acrylic. This one is only a 2mm acrylic. The problem with this one is you can actually see, if I put this on top of the light here, you can see the light actually comes through the plastic where there's no engraving, because it's so thin, the material. If the material was spaced away from the LEDs, it works quite well, but I'd have to put a spacer in there to do that. Whereas with the 3mm acrylic, none of the light escapes through the grey area, it only just comes through the area where the engraving is. Nice little job there. That's the Fascia Panel, I believe, that one. Right, okay, so back to this. Turn that off. So yeah, this is our 3mm acrylic with 3 coats of the plastic coat primer on there. What we've done there, we've designed the file. This is the back panel I cut before. This is for the flight control panel on the Boeing 737. This is the back panel, which will have all the switches mounted. That's a missile style toggle switch mounted to that. And this is 3mm opaque acrylic. Now I'm going to leave this protective film on for the moment, because once I've cut the face panel to go on top of that, I want to bolt the two together, cut away the protective filming for the exposed areas, and then spray it again in grey, so it just gives me the grey paint along the exposed edges, and I won't waste any paint on the centre here, blocking in the centre part here, because I need the light to shine through in various areas where the engraving is here. So, but that's the back panel with one missile style switch attached. Okay, so right, what we're going to get on with now is I've designed the front panel again in Inkscape. This is the Fascia panel for this panel. Now I've designed that in Inkscape, and now I'm going to put this into the K40 Laser and first do the engraving, the raster engraving, and then do the cut for the top panel for this flight control panel. Okay, so we'll move on over to the laser now, and you can see the cutting going on there. Right, here you can see I've positioned the 3mm painted acrylic into my K40 laser bed here. This is just the pipe to the air assist, and I'm going to set up now K40 running on Inkscape, the Inkscape file imported to K40 Whisperer, and then we'll do a time lapse of the engraving and the cut. So let's get Inkscape all fired up. Right, welcome back. As you can see, we've done the cutting of our top layer to this panel. I'll just run through them again. This is the back part of the flight control panel. of the Boeing 737 overhead. This is a piece of 3mm opaque acrylic, and this is the back panel that supports all the switches. So the switches will get mounted to this part here. It says, there we go. Right, so yeah, we'll populate all of these holes with switches. These are for the Annunciators, which, and the final bit will be covered with a piece of black acrylic with the identification for the Annunciators on those. All the holes will be populated with switches. So what we've just done is we've cut the top layer. Just swap those over, show you what we've done there. This was cut from, so a piece of 4mm clear acrylic, and I'd sprayed it with 3 coats of grey Plasticoat primer, and that's got that whole shape cut out. Lovely cut, very pleased with that laser. And this is the cut here, and it's also got the raster engraving on to allow it for a backlight. At the moment, it where it's burnt away the paint, it's a bit smudged. Let's get a little cloth here to try and clean it up a bit, because I think it's only where the plastic leaves a bit of smoke after. We just give that a little clean up. Try not to fill the holes with the dirt. Get my camera to focus here. Come on. Focus. These autofocus cameras, not very good. Right, sorry about that. Hope you can see that a bit better. Had to turn the autofocus off because it was stopping things coming through. Right, let's give this a little clean up. Just take the little smoke parts off. Right, if I turn the backlight on here, I've got a little drawing pad. It's a tracing thing for photography, and that. I'll turn that on, you should see the idea of the backlight. There you go. And neat is that, eh? That is very nice. Very pleased with that. So this is all the raster engraving done, and then obviously the holes and the whole panel shape was cut with the vector cut facility on the laser. But I am very impressed with that. That is lovely. All I'll do now is I'm going to place this on top of the back panel. There's certain areas that are going to need to be sprayed grey as well on the back panel, the bits that are exposed. You see, like for the screws here, where you've got the indent in here for the screws, they need to be painted grey. But you don't want to paint the whole panel grey, because you obviously want the light to come through to for the backlighting. So what I need to do is to mark those sections, and then I can peel off the covering, the paper underneath. So what I can do here, if I just mark them now, I'll get myself a little Sharpie or something and mark those, and then I can cut them away with a razor. Just held that in position on top, and I'm just going to mark around these shapes here. Corner there. these are the areas where you want to remove the protective layer, because you then want to spray paint these with the Plasticoat grey again. And it does look like this hole here is slightly off centre to the panel, so I'll put that in I might have to drill that one out, otherwise that's not going to go in there. That's a fault on my part of my design there. Must have put that in the wrong place. So right, that's those all marked. I think that's everything marked. A little bit around there, but not much. Okay, so we lift that top part up and just pop that to one side for now. Now you can see all the bits that I've marked out here. I need to cut off the let's get a little scalpel blade. Need to remove the protective film from that area. There we go. So that's all the protective coating removed from there. Obviously not from the rear of the panel, that can come off as well. Some nice little sheets these. Come fully protected on both sides, and being as they come in A4 sizes, it's perfect for fitting into your laser. Designed for the hobby laser, so that's the protective layer off of there. This one I'm leaving on because I'm going to, as I said, spray that. And then this is your top panel, which will go on here. Oh, sorry, got this completely upside down. There you go, go that way. It'll go on there. And of course what I'm going to do is spray this back panel first, and then before I mount the front panel on it. But as you can see all the backlighting, it's all coming out. I turn that off. Doesn't show much at all, does it? There. Turn the backlighting on. You can see all that through there, through the panel. It's lovely. Very impressed with that. Very, very impressed. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this out to my workshop, give it a 3 coats with that Plasticoat grey spray paint, and then I'll bring it back in, stick the 2 layers together, and we'll start populating for the switches. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video there, be back with you soon. Right, hello. Just a quick recap. This is the front piece of the flight control panel for a Boeing 737 overhead, and again this is made from the 3mm clear acrylic with 3 coats of Plasticoat paint sprayed on top, and then laser cut and engraved in my K40 Laser. So he's done an excellent job with the engraving and the cutting. Now the second part of this video, where I left you last time, was this is the back panel. This is the panel that all the switches are mounted to. Now what I did was I left the protective film on this, and I just laid this on top, that way around. Laid that on top and marked where the protective film had to be removed so that I could spray paint it grey. Then remove the protective film from those areas and then spray paint it again with 3 coats of the Plasticoat grey. Now what I'm going to do is remove the rest of the protective film and expose the whole panel. So even though this looks grey on top here, there should only be grey where the screws are exposed and where the back of the missile switches are. So if we start to remove this protective film now, hopefully it won't lift the paint as well. Looks like it's lifted the paint there. I think I might have missed that screw hole, I'm not sure. I'll have to touch that in with a paintbrush after. As you can see, we're removing all the protective film now, and then that's just left the painted areas where I wanted them. Right, we have the back panel here now with all the painted areas that I wanted, and then obviously the front panel goes on top of this. Like that. So what I'm going to do now is start fitting the switches. See, I've missed one here, or what's happened I think is it's lifted the paint. Yeah, it's lifted the paint with the protective film there, but I can always touch that in after. So yeah, so I'm going to now fix this top panel to the bottom panel and then start populating with the switches. Okay, so to fix those 2 panels together, I'm just going to use a little bit of hot glue. Just turn that over. What I'll do is I'll put the hot glue in the areas where there isn't any writing, because we don't want to block that in. Got my hot glue gun here. Stick glue there, and I'm just going to put a few dabs of hot glue in areas where there's no writing on them. Hot glue gun's a bit rapid, so try not to get it everywhere. Let's stick this on top of the other panel, lining it up carefully, just a little pressed in. Stick's rather rapid, that one. Done with a bit of sliding about, but that's quite rapid. Okay. Let's clean it up. There's a bit of glue where we don't want it. Just doing a backlight test again. So, turn it around like that so you can see that a bit better. There we are. I'm going to start populating now this with some switches. Got some missile style switches. Start populating that. Just going to turn the hot glue gun off. Here's one missile style switch. There. So let's just try and put one of these on. So, in there, missile covering. Yeah, these are reversed because they're done for safety. Don't want to activate the alternative spoilers. For added safety, they reverse the way the switch goes. Can't be turned on accidentally. Okay, just do that up. Excuse the fingers. Let's see what I'm doing. On that. Just tighten that up. And just clicking on the screen. There you are, there's a second switch. That's our alternative spoiler switches, all in, with the guards. I'm going to continue populating this now and I'll come back to you when it's complete. See you in a moment. Okay, where I left you was I was going to populate the back, the flight control panel, and here you see it's all fully populated now. We've got 4 black missile style switches and 1 red, and and we've got here, which is the yaw damper, switch, and that switch there. This should actually be a 2-position switch, but I've only got one at the moment, so I'll have to replace that switch there. Then you've got the missile style switches for your alternate flaps. One's up top here and one's here as well. And of course it's all backlit. Yeah. All backlit. Very pleased with that. Right, our next stage is going to be to design and produce the annunciators here that go over here. All over these here, all the annunciator blocks with the engraving. So just turn that, put that aside for now. So what I'm going to do is I've produced a, this is again a piece of 3mm clear acrylic, just spray coated with the Plasticoat spray paint, but this is black. I've done this all in black so it can't be seen through now. Turn the light on, you can't see anything through it, but once it's engraved the letters will show through. So I'm going to go over now to Inkscape. I'll leave a link in the description below for everything, and also a link to where all my files can be downloaded from. But we'll go over to Inkscape now and start designing the individual annunciators, which we're going to cover over here, and these will be individually lit with LEDs, colour appropriate. I think these ones will probably have yellow or amber LEDs, and some of them have green or blue, so depending on which annunciator it is, it will have a specific coloured LED for that, whereas the writing will just be generally backlit with a white LED. Okay, let's go over to the design stage and design the annunciators. K40. Just to recap, we have just designed the Annunciators on Inkscape, and you've just seen a time-lapse video of them being engraved and cut on my K40 Laser. Here they are now out of the machine. I've just put them on a light board so you can just see that they're all backlit. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the one specific to this panel that we're producing, which is this lot here, and we're going to fit them to our panel. So if I just take this away for now and bring in the ones that we need. Turn that off. I've got a little drawer in here roughly of this panel, so I know which ones we need. So we need 10 in total of the Annunciators. That's a low quantity, low pressure, standby rudder, then 2 more low pressures, a field diff press, is that one, speed trim file, Mac trim file, auto slack file, and the yaw damper. So what it was because I had the jig all set up to do the Annunciators and they're all the same size, I thought I'll produce a lot of them for future panels while I've got this one sheet of black acrylic. It's actually clear acrylic sprayed black on one side. I've actually done the etching on the reverse side, so the top is clear, so that will stop anything scratching away at the etching. But yeah, let's put those to one side and bring in our panel. This is the panel, obviously all populated with the switches now. Now what I'm going to use to glue these Annunciators on here is, I was going to use super glue but I haven't got any, but I found this. This is solvent weld for plastic piping, plumbing piping, and I've just tested it out and it seems to grab really quick, so I'm going to use that. Hopefully I won't make a mess of everything with it. I'm going to use a small brush, not the brush that comes with it, because look at that thing, it's huge. So I'm just going to put that out of the way for now. And I'm going to use a little modelling brush to apply that. So again, using my drawing as reference, I can see the first one that's going to go up here under the standby hydraulics is a low quantity, so that has to stick there. So we've got to try and stick that with some degree of accuracy. Now because I've got this populated with the switches, it's a bit rocky, so we're going to try and wedge under that side of it so it doesn't fall over when I'm trying to glue this on. There we go, I think that's going to hold it. So let's try and see where we're going to glue this. Let's get a little bit of that glue on here on this brush. A little bit around the side. Stuff goes off pretty quick. So you don't want to affect any of the engraving. So let's try and get that one there. So the first one is low quantity. You've got a few seconds to manoeuvre it into position before it goes off. Just leave that there. That's our first one. Next one is a low pressure warning. So let's do a little bit on there. try actually adding it to this rather than to that. Let's try that. Low pressure on it. Might back this up from behind with a bit of hot glue, because I haven't actually left myself much room to any surface to actually glue these with. And there we go, that's that one, low pressure, and the third one is the standby rudder. A little bit of glue off of that brush there, because I can't actually see where I'm gluing. No, that's not wet enough. Plastic behind. No, as I say, yeah, what I'll do next, because that's all the annunciators on there, I'll do a separate video to show you how to do the wiring, and also how to link it up to either an input-output, joystick input-output, or probably on these, because I want the annunciators to work correctly, I'll probably put it through Arduino, using probably MobiFlight. Check out MobiFlight videos, you see they're excellent, and that way you can have switches operating, and you can also have the LEDs on the annunciators working as well, using a Arduino to run those. But there you are. So if I pan this up a bit, you might be able to see a bit better. Oh, there we go. There we go. So that's the finished product, apart from the wiring, which, as I said, I'll do in a separate video. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you for the next video. Next panel probably being done is the crossfeed fuel pump panel. I'll be doing that one next, so keep an eye out for that. Okay, thanks for watching. See you later.